Here in the frozen Northern Michigan greenhouse, my goodness, is it? And the thing is, it's not that cold today. I mean, you know, relatively speaking, I think it's 26 out, 27, but we're in between this like rain, freezing rain, sleet, just yuck sort of a day today. Like it was raining last night and just kind of gross. So, man, we're just in this weird spot right now that I'm just trying to avoid at all costs. Like being out and having to deal with any of this stuff. So I'm just getting live here so I can see the chat. Keep abreast with it here, folks. So, but yeah, for those who don't know, my name's Ryan. Out here in the greenhouse, here in Northern Michigan, right along Lake Michigan. It's just a couple miles over that way. Well, we are working on our starts for the spring garden, which is over here. I have a 25 by 50 garden. We'll have a polytunnel. Use my words today. Polytunnel. We'll have some other stuff. We'll talk more about that as the stream goes on here. So I come here live on YouTube pretty consistently. Now, again, just hanging out with folks, working in the greenhouse, working out in the garden, doing all the stuff. So hopefully I earn your subscription today. So let's make sure this thing is somewhere where folks can see it today. There we go. Just kind of there and out of the blue. So with that, a couple things here. Again, let me move some of the things here. When we're coming out here live and we're working like right now, I have a couple plants that I need to transplant. I've got some lettuces that are going. I've got most of the lettuce that I want going started. So there's there. So we're going to be working today on some of my brassicas that need to be transplanted as well. So we're going to be looking at that. I may do a couple more of these lettuces to get them up here, but we definitely have, as you can see, our lettuces, right? We've got them in here. They're doing their thing. But we definitely need to get my brassicas transplanted, and they're right here. So we're going to take a look at those in a little bit. So yeah, man, I'll tell you, last night was wild. We have the storm coming through. We got I think it's a bomb. Let me move my heater a little bit here. Had a bomb cyclone thing happening here, whatever. And what we're getting right at, I think we're going to be down to 0 on like Sunday night into Monday. We're down to single digits, so we're going to be dealing with that. So just update on our lingonberry bush. It is transplanted. It seems to be doing pretty well. It's doing the whole dormant thing. But everything seems to be good on here. We'll know in a little bit whether this lingonberry transplant went well. By a little bit, I mean in a few months. But I think it's going to be okay. It's not freezing. Excuse me, corn. It's not freezing, so I think it's going to be okay. And again, for those that aren't familiar, lingonberry it's the closest thing I think we deal with here in the U.S. would be like a cranberry bush. If you've ever had Swedish fish, that's the flavor of lingonberry. That's what that is. So as we're going through and we're doing our transplanting today, we're going to be doing, obviously, as always, going through the education piece, how to do it, why we do it. And we're probably going to start a couple other things. I brought my Organo Republic seed pack out. I think I'm going to move my whiteboard out of the way here, guys. I think we're going to start something else today too, and check in on what we currently have going. Let me get these guys out because those are definitely not what I want started. Okay. So hopefully everybody's doing well. Again, hopefully I earn your subscription today, guys. We come out here live all the time in the greenhouse and just kind of working on stuff. And today's one of those days where I am so glad that my heater is working in here. It's just one of those, like, it's not overly cold, but man, it's just that cold, but it's cold and damp and just, you're outside and it's just miserable, I think is the best way to say it. So, all right, well, let's get into this here. So I got a couple more lettuces that I want to transplant. Then we've got our brassicas. Again, brassicas are going to be your broccolis, your cauliflowers, Brussels sprouts, kale. And there's one other one. And I've got it over there and it's in the mix. It's the one where you're more worried about the root ball and everything. I can never remember it because I never grow it. So, but we're going to do some of those transplants today, guys. So, and just kind of walk you through what the process is and how it goes and where we're at. Because like I said, we got some more stuff to get after today. And like I said, we're probably going to do some starts today too. If not, I'll do the starts tomorrow. We'll see. So I'm live in here consistently. Hey, by the way, when you hop in the chat, do me a favor. Let me know where you're from. I'm up here in Northern Michigan. Hold on, let me get this closed off there. There we go. I'm up here in Northern Michigan. And it's like saying I think it's like 26 degrees out right now. So it's a little warmer than on Thursday night when we were out, Thursday evening, afternoon, when we were doing the live stream there. It was like 14 degrees. And so we've doubled up, folks. I mean, we're living the life of luxury right now where we're at. So All right, so let's talk through the process here of, transplanting and what this looks like. Okay, so what we've done here is we started our plants here, and you can see there's just some lettuces that we have. These are just some standard butter lettuce, nothing crazy. Getting them started. And when we're doing transplanting, there's a couple things that we're going to be looking for here. One, and we'll go through all the reasons why we do our transplants here as we're going through here. But there's a time to know when it's time to transplant. And like right now, you can see there's a tiny little root hanging out the bottom there. When you start seeing your roots poking down through the bottom of your 1-inch cells, it's time to go. It's time to make that transition. So, hey, trying to think here, what time is it there? Konbawa, is that correct in Japan? All right, it's evening there, correct? Konbawa. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see, or ohayou gozaimasu. Either way, I'm trying to think here. I lived in northern Japan, Aomori Ken, and that's where I was at. So, man, my Japanese is terrible. So, hopefully I was nailing those. But anyways, thank you for watching. That's awesome. Love to have you on here. So what we're going to do here, and we're doing the transplant here. So we start them in these 1-inch cells, right? And part of it is just paying attention to the roots. And once they start breaking down through the bottom, that's them telling you, like, hey, it's time to move up into a larger, like into your larger pint size at this point here. Okay. Now we don't start everything in here for a couple of reasons, but the main one is that this is an awful lot of soil, like your seed starting soil, your potting soil, whatever it happens to be, to dedicate into one space for one plant. All right. What we want to do is we want to get as many plants started as we can with as little seed starting as possible. And then we're going to pick through the best ones. And that's what we're doing currently right now. We've got the best ones here that are doing well. And we're getting more light every day and starting to, managing things. So they're going to start performing better. So we want to make sure that we get the best ones out and then move them over here for the best, strongest ones. Okay. And that's what we're doing. So what we're going to do is we fill this up to the top here, and then we're just going to lightly just kind of compact it down just to make sure it's seated. What we don't want is any air pockets. And we're going to talk about this a lot when we're doing everything here, especially when it comes to seed starting and your, thank you by the thumbs up for the thumbs up, everybody. I appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, pushes me out to more folks. I appreciate it. But when it comes to those air pockets, right? So we got roots coming down, right? And they're growing, and they hit an air pocket. Now they got nowhere to go, right? So they're just kind of like, not sure what to do. The seedling, actually basically the germination, the seed at that point, as the roots are going, they have to expend more energy to try to redirect those roots or send out more roots. Additionally, there's this other stuff that goes on where it wastes a lot of moisture as well too for wicking and stuff. So we want to compact that. Again, we want to give this as much opportunity to be successful as possible. All right, so middle of the mitten, Beaverton, I'm doing soil blocking this year. So, yeah, hey, so I've actually got, it's funny you say that, I'm going to be doing a video on this soil blocker right here, probably in the next couple weeks or so, because I'm going to be doing some soil blocking when I get my polytunnel up. And I'm over here near Ludington. That's where I'm at. So awesome. Welcome. Good to have you on here. Thanks for letting me know where you're from. We love that. Again, everybody, when you hop in the chat, just let us know where you're from, because, we're from all over. We got Japan in here. Obviously, we got folks in Michigan. So the next thing we're going to do is when we're moving to this spot here is we're going to make a little hole, a little indentation in there, okay? And what that's going to do is going to be a receiving port for these 1-inch cells here when they're coming up. So we're just going to grab one of these here. I think this is the one I want right here. Excuse me. All right, and so with the pack, let me grab that seed pack because I'm going to talk about 1,000 times. Excuse me. All right, so I have a video that I did on this. It's from Organo Republic. Again, I'm not sponsored, nothing sponsored here. Although, again, as always, hey, Organo Republic, if you want to sponsor me, I'll take a sponsorship. But anyways, I order this every year. It's their 55 seed pack. And for what I put in the garden, not everything, but the vast majority of stuff I use here. There's stuff that I do in bulk that I order the seeds separate as well, just to have them. But one of the things I love about that pack is they've partnered with Seedling, right? Seedling, and you get this cool little pack of tools that comes with it. And one of the packs of tools that they have is this little guy right here that allows you to scoop out of these 1-inch cells here to be able to have stuff. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, guys. Let's see. And you'll see they come up here. So we're going to be, when we do this, we're going to be inspecting the root ball, basically the roots in here too. Okay. Because what we want to have on here is we want to make sure that the roots are coming down and that they're not, they haven't become root bound, which means it starts wrapping around the cell. So I got to check something here real quick. Okay. Sorry, I've got work I'm doing today too, so I apologize. Let me bring this back up here. There we go. I'm always on call. I'm a business coach, guys, so every now and again I get these calls. So anyways, so we're going to be taking a look at this here, and we're going to be making sure that this isn't root bound. What I mean by that is when we always want the roots to be going vertically, like down, right? They're going to branch, so that's fine, but we always want them going down. What we don't want is to have the roots wrapping around, and this is the reason why I'm going to show you. I came up with my little tool here, right? So we want the roots doing this, right? Just going straight down. Straight down is what we're looking for. We never want to see them going like this, because especially when they're inside the container, they start wrapping around, and what happens is they wrap around the plant, other roots in the plant itself, and as they grow, right, they're going to grow out. Well, this is going to get bigger and grow and end up pinching off the root itself, and you're going to strangle the plant because you didn't break up that root ball. Okay, so a live stream with actual information. I mean, hey, good to have you on here. Hey, where are you from, Ned? Ned Bailey, that's too funny. Hey, just let us know where you're from. That's what we're always after here. So, but yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So when we're looking at these and evaluating the roots, that's one of the things we're doing. That's the main purpose that we're looking for, is to make sure that we don't have any roots that are going around like that. Okay. Now, once we get it placed, you see how it's seated in there. Seated, not seated. It was seated in here. It's seated in here. Pennsylvania, awesome. So we're up here in Northern Michigan. I'm up here in my greenhouse, and we're doing my lettuce transfer right now. We're going to do some brassicas here in a second. I've got some broccoli, some cauliflower, and kale I need to move over and get it kind of rolling here. So thank you. Welcome. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. Now, oh, you're up in Montana. And I love that name, Garden 7799. Perfect. Welcome, Montana. So what we're going to do next is really just come in, and I'm going to grab one of these here that isn't going to get transplanted to kind of show you. So on lettuce, they're kind of lettuce is just one of these plants. Let me angle this down. I got the heater blowing at my ankles instead of my toes. So when the lettuce grows, this particular style, a lot of them, they do this little like S-hook thing, right? So we want to make sure we have it buried right down, or planted right down to the base there, okay? And that's just going to kind of give it the best support that it's going to need, support to help it as it's doing its thing. That lettuce right there, God bless it, it's going to go to my chickens, so help it out. And we just do that by lightly packing that soil around where we were at, just like so. And the plant will figure it out. It'll do its thing, and it'll make all the adjustments it needs to, okay? But that's the idea here, folks. So we're going to do a couple more of these, and then we're going to move on to my brassicas, because I only have a few in here. And, they're in a good spot, but we want to get them moving sooner rather than later into their, the larger, basically those pine containers, okay? So with that, as always, if you guys have questions or anything, just throw them in the chat, or if you got comments, that's the biggest thing here. I'm here for me, I'm here for you, and we're all here together, just kind of figuring this stuff out. I'm just a regular gardening guy. That's all I do. And I've just come here live, just sharing some of the stuff we got here, folks. So, all right. So again, just walk you through the process here as we had. So we've got, like I said, we always want to kind of have this mounted over a little bit, right? And then we're going to pull out this extra. And you'll figure out the depth that you want to have for your stuff here, depending also how long you're going to have these in here. Like, for instance, this lettuce here isn't more than likely going to make it into the garden. This is stuff I'm going to be growing here for the family and then for the chickens too. So I always like to give them some fresh greens, especially this time of year. They're so miserable right now because we've been getting slow snow, sleet, hail, rain, wind, cold, sadness has really been the mix for the last week or so. It's just been gross. So, anything I can do to get them some greens to help keep them healthy. They love that, especially fresh, right? That's why we do this. Okay, so again, we're going to come through after we clear off. We're just going to lightly press down to take care of any sort of air gaps that are in there. That's important, folks. Again, air gaps are one of the worst things that you can have for your plants. It slows everything down, makes them sad, right? They're doing all the work and like, meh, where can I go? No, there's no place for me to go. And then sadness ensues. All right, so we're gonna do this one over here, and it's gonna let us do some trimming. Okay, now again, we're using our tool. You can use a spoon, guys. This just happens on this kit. I love it. It comes with this little scoopy thing here. And if you're curious about that seed packet from Organo Republic, I did a full video on it. You can go to my page and check it out, guys. So, all right, so this one is gonna come apart on us, and that's okay, because we're gonna be just saving this one. So let me get this guy out of there. There we go. So again, we're looking at that right there. That's what we want to see. All those roots just kind of doing their thing right there, guys. We're going to pop that in there and just seat that. And then anything that is not the main lettuce goes into the cup over here and is going to be feed for the chickens. All right, so that's seeded in there. And now we're just going to repack some soil around there to help support it as it's doing its thing. That's where we're at. Now, one of the reasons that we're already in the greenhouse here in particular, now the lettuces for us in the family, is because of the few plants that we start in January. There's a couple that I start every year that we're going to take a look at, and I can show you some of them right now, just to give you an example. So it's the last of our lettuces. All of these the rest of these are going to end up to the chickens. So they're the big winners for today. I'll place that there for right now. Oop, excuse me. All right, so what we end up doing, so let's just place this guy here so we can all go to the chickens. The lettuce did their job. They did their job. I'm real proud of them, but their buddies are going to get bigger on us here. So what we have here is we started. Now, things that we started a couple weeks ago, I think on the 6th, is where we did most of our starts, are going to be your long day onions, short day onions, and our celery. So let's start with celery. I think we'll start there, guys, because that one's kind of that most people don't think about starting celery, right? And again, celery is one of the ones that I just enjoy having fresh. One of the rules that I have with stuff that I grow in the garden, it's either I want to enjoy it fresh, or it's saving me some money. Like those are the two main things that I have here. There's also stuff like for my neighbors, because I do grow food out here where I'm at. I'm in a very poor part of Michigan, very rural. We're in a fresh produce type desert around here, and you find those all over the place. So a lot of the food that I make and I grow is specifically for a vegetable stand that I have that's donation only. So my neighbors and the surrounding area, they can come in and just, they're not having to have to drive into the store to try to get fresh vegetables. They can get fresh cucumbers, tomatoes, and all the stuff here. So that's one of the reasons that I do what I do. Okay. But with that, everything else I grow, I want to have fresh stuff. Like that's big for me. All right, so we're going to take a look at our next one here, which is these. Again, this is from the Organo Republic pack. We're going to look at this is our long day onions, right? And you'll see these here. You're familiar with this type. It's a yellow onion. It's a yellow sweet Spanish. Okay, and I think a lot of folks are familiar with those. They know those, and we got light on top of it. Now, onions are really unique, and you want to start them early, especially here in Michigan, where we're at. In Northern Michigan, you want to start them early because onions are one of those vegetables. They're a different type of vegetable. They need, they're like a battery, I think is the best way to say it. They have to charge up a certain amount as they're growing. All right. And it doesn't really matter like how long it takes. What they do, let me get this guy out of here. A random seed jumped in there. I always have random seeds growing everywhere. I'm a bit of a mess when it comes to that. But anyways, they take time. It's the amount of light they get, not the total amount, not the number of days per se. So they need a total amount of light. And you'll see, like on this, these are just some of the onions that I always kind of have going. These are, just making their way along, doing their thing. And these are for cooking purposes. When I need green onions for like a lot of the Asian dishes that I do, or for, if I'm making some Mexican food, right? That'll have these here. And these just kind of grow and just do their thing. They just kind of hang out here and grow at their own pace. Okay. So greetings from Middle Earth. Okay. Well, we'll take that. And then we got over in Leicester. Did I say that right? Did I say Leicester correctly? Hope I did. So awesome. Good to have you on there. Good to have you on here. So these are the long day onions, and you can see how they're all popping up and everything. Now, One of the things that I want you to just keep in mind here when it comes to onions in particular, okay? Like, hey, I nailed it. All right, woohoo! That's all the top gear. Me and Clarkson and the boys just watching Clarkson and the boys doing that all the time. I think that's where I got it. So, when it comes to onions, this is something where I want you to just kind of ignore, especially when you're starting them early. I want you to ignore what the package says on it and how to plant them. Okay, because they're going to talk to you about spacing and all the other stuff. These are going to be transplanted, right? They're going to grow for a few months, and then I'm going to transplant them into my soil directly. Okay. Now the thing with onions, and I'll show you here. I've got some over here for demonstration purposes. Here we go. All right, these are just some of my demonstration onions that I have here that are, they've been going a little bit longer here, but they've got their roots going. So let's look at this one right here. See how it's got all these in here? I don't necessarily want to, well, that's all right. We'll add the extra soil in here. So we're going to pop these guys out, and I'm going to show you why we're not worried about it, right? Because the main reason you want, especially on your onions, they need space to be able to expand, and that's fine. But when they're first starting out, onions like to clump. It's kind of like their thing. They like to all kind of be together if they can, right? All the roots come together and it provides support, but their roots are loosely done. I want to kind of show you here. Loosely done, loose, shake, shake, shake. Okay, so you can see here, right? I got all of this just root mess going on here, and like, oh no, what's going to happen? Well, let's just start, and you'll see the roots. They don't actually, they grow together, but they don't stick together. Okay. So you can have all sorts of save space, get your onions all started in one spot. And then when they get mature, which these guys are, if it was warmer out, I could transplant these and they'd be ready to go, but they're not going to make the cut. But you'll see, I got these 3 left. We can just kind of keep going and they all just come right apart. So we're not worried about that. There's the last bit. We're going to use this also for a quick little lesson here. So again, with your onions, guys, start them all in one big thing here. Don't worry about it because you're going to transplant them. Get them in here and just let them do their thing. They'll be fine. And if you lose a few of them out of here for whatever reason, it's okay. They're onions. Onions are cheap. So just keep that in mind. That being said, if you've never had a fresh onion from your garden, you've never actually tasted what an onion tastes like. And it's one of the reasons that I grow them. Onions that we get in the store, right? If I go over to the Mega Mart over here and just grab an onion, it's been cured. So it's a different flavor profile than something that you're able to take directly from the soil, and put it right in with your cooking. It's completely different flavor. And I think anyone who has the opportunity to do that, you're going to be amazed and really enjoy the flavor. All right. So anyways, that's the idea here. So we got all these guys going here, but I want to do a quick little teaching moment. And I love this for this. Do you guys see how those roots are holding on to all of them? I'm going to make sure you can see this real well. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You guys can see that. Good. So how all those roots are holding on to that soil. So there's a couple of reasons. One, they have little hairs on them, right, that kind of wrap around the soil. 2, though, and this is why we want to have as much stuff growing in our soil at all times. And it's because of what's happening down there right now. One of the things that I try to do with my plants is I try never to pull my roots out. Anything that I grow, I like to let it just go in there and decompose. So the roots right there, do you see how it's holding onto that soil? Oh, except for that piece. Roots, they give off this glue. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're going to talk about my celery that I got here. That is a great thing here. But you see those roots, right? They're holding on. They give off a glue. So they actually hold on and bind the soil together. And in these little spots here, right there, that's where your microbiome hangs out, one of them, but that's where your microbiome hangs out, where the interchange happens between the sugars and the minerals and the stuff that we need the microbes breaking down for the plants, and they're trading sugar for minerals and other goodness. And that's where that happens in that area. So your plants naturally set up a little house, little hangout for that microbiome to do its thing and transfer stuff. So that's why we always want to leave the roots in there as much as possible, because now they got a home. Right. And the goal on this channel, one of the things that we absolutely have here is we love to grow delicious vegetables and fruits. Right. I have a little orchard, tiny little orchard as well. I've got plenty of flowers and stuff we're growing. We always love to grow things. That's cool. That only happens because on this channel and the folks that, as we're doing here, as we're working together, we focus on making sure the soil is as healthy and vibrant and take care of it as much as possible. Because if we get the biome right, the soil biome right, with all of the, you get your earthworms, all of the microbes, and we got the balance right. The balance is correct for the type of soil and all the goodness, compost. So we got organic matter in there. The plants take care of themselves because they've been doing this without us for how long? So that's kind of the idea here, folks. So when you're talking about this, we definitely want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to protect and safeguard the soil. All right. So leeks in March. Yep, absolutely. I actually have leeks that grow wild around here. So when I'm going, so I'll have leeks that I'll be able to go get, just harvest myself. So I don't need to have space for them. Right. At the same time, then a few months later, around the same time, we got wild asparagus, and then morel mushrooms start popping and doing their thing. So that's always exciting. So yeah, absolutely. All right. So the other thing too is that I highly recommend, if you don't have these, take a look into getting these. Let me adjust this here. They're getting too moist right now. When you're picking up your, these are 1020 right here. And these are 1020 trays by 10 inches by 20. And when you are getting these, this is a 4-inch dome. You can get different dome heights, right? This is just a little guy over here, 2 inches. I got 4. And for these in particular, it lets the onions just kind of come up, and they're living their own best life in here, giving them the best shot. I have it also for my basil, which we'll look at here in a little bit as well. But you can get these off of Amazon, and they have the little vents on here that allow you to manage the, obviously for helping with heat, but also for moisture control too. So definitely pretty cool thing to be looking at here. What do we got here? These are these should be the short day onions, if memory serves correct. Let me just see. Yep, these are the short day onions. So started following Charles Downing 3 years ago. I'm 100% no dig now. Oh, good. That's awesome. Yeah. So one of the things we have out here, I use a broad fork. Every now and again, I got to turn the soil, especially if I get, as it's doing its thing. I've had a lot where I have a whole bunch of like clay, these huge clay deposits. So I may have to turn it out some, but for the most part, I'm with you there. If you don't have a broad fork, folks, highly recommend you look into one there. So again, for those that know, we got a few more folks that are hopping in here just to fill you all out here. Sorry, I kind of itched today. My name is Ryan. I am I'm here in the garden up here in Northern Michigan, and I come here live, just as I'm working, like I'm doing real stuff for my garden here, and we're just kind of sharing notes on stuff here. Okay, so hopefully I earn your subscription today. If I don't earn your subscription, if I haven't yet, at least give me a thumbs up. If I make you laugh or anything, it helps with the algorithm. And that's it. Like I said, I hope to earn your subscription. So with that, let's take a look here. So these were long day onions, by the way. That's something I definitely want to make sure that, actually, I'm sorry, these were the short day onions. These are the long day ones. So I had it backwards there. So these are the short day. So I gotta get this straight. That's why, by the way, I write on every one of my containers what they are, so I don't get them mixed. So we had, okay, these are long day onions. So long day onions, it's just like the name says, long day. They do better with longer days, like up here in the northern hemisphere where I'm at, especially up in the northern tier of Michigan. We have days where the sun comes up at 5 and it doesn't set until 10:30. All right, so we get long days. So these type of onions do well in that environment. These are short day onions. They do better when the days are short. There you go. So it's just understanding that here. So let's see here. So I have a UK full plot allotment, 10 rods, 250 square. Mars, man. Okay. So Christopher, can you do me a favor? Can you translate that into American? Because I'm assuming that's a decent sized garden. I don't know though. So I apologize. Yeah. So we're 25 by 50 feet here on my garden. Plus I have a whole bunch of raised beds. I have other raised beds on this side, and I have other stuff growing everywhere. So, okay. So with that, you can see here, it's the same thing we got. Oh, meters. Okay. Got it. There you go. I speak meters. We got Canada's just up here. So I got you. Cool. That's pretty, yeah, that's decent size. I mean, that's enough for, to put out quite a bit of stuff here. So you can see here, they're coming along here, doing pretty well, living their best lives. And these onions are just going to be coming up. So the way I did this for the onions, just so you know, so we make sure I have a decent coating on this, right, is I split this into Was this one in quarter? Yeah, into quarters basically to have this here. And we just kind of spread the seeds around to make sure there's even coverage across the entire thing. Because I'm not going to be able to make sure everything's covered evenly with this big of a space. So I just made it into smaller spaces and made it easy to make sure I had good coverage. Okay. And that's one of the things just to make sure you got there. So, all right. There we go. There we go. And the same thing here. We're just going to have this on here. Now, other things also as well, I can pull this up. If you don't have them here, ladies and gentlemen, just understand they're pretty much a requirement up here in Michigan in my area. As you're starting in the greenhouse, these are tray warming mats, and it shows up on my electric bill for sure. But what they do is they keep the soil temperature between 70 and 85 degrees to ensure that you're gonna have your best opportunity for germination. Then you got to keep in mind where a lot of the problems run in when you're not able to get quality germination for your product, for your seeds, is because the temperature was too cold. Okay. And what we do is we have warming mats as we get to germination. Once everybody's up, like these are going to be turned off here and moved. Like they're going to be moved here probably in the next week as I feel I got everybody up. And then they'll be fine. They'll just do that. They'll be like these guys right here. Right? They're just sitting over on the shelf, living their best lives. And that's the thing. If you've ever had trouble with germination, chances are good what happened is you didn't have your soil warm enough. Okay. There's other aspects too, but so we always use a tray warming mat to do that. And it keeps around 70 to 75. Okay. So, yeah, I was thinking Mars. Yeah, we all were like Mars. Okay. And so that's what I was asking there. I just want clarification. Sometimes, I mean, listen, and I've been around enough British folks to know, sometimes the words don't match up. All right. So here's the deal. I did a review on these lights here. As you can see, this one is not doing so well. This one's okay. It hasn't any water. So, yeah, not a big fan of these. Not a big fan of these at all. They get any sort of water on them at all, and the LEDs just melt off. It's kind of weird. So I'm going to get this last little bit of light out of this one that I can, but that's really about it for these here. So what do we got going on here? You guys are having a hard time getting going here. I want to take a look at these because these guys are suffering through here right now. And I think a big part of it, I think they're just too moist. Yeah, probably so. So I do have some started, which is good. So I have some of my beets are going, but they're not doing too well. See, these are just weeds that are in there. You can spot those. But I have a couple here that did start, and this is just me testing how early I can get my beets started. So I have a couple that are doing well over here. They're doing okay, but most of them did not do well. So I'm just going to put these guys, transplant these. Probably, I might even do these now. So they're just kind of in their own pot, living their best life. All right, so what's the question here? What's the period between sowing then onto planting? So in my area, so the way it works is I have 3 seasons that I work with here in Michigan. I'm actually going to pop this guy off of here, just kind of leave him. Matter of fact, we're going to be trading it out with this guy today, so that's fine. We have three seasons here in Michigan. I'm actually going to be recycling most of this. These guys, I was not happy with the starts. So we have our spring season, which is our brassicas and some other stuff. Your lettuces, brassicas, things like that. A lot of your root vegetables, radishes, carrots, you can get started and get going. Beets are in there as well too. And then you have our summer one as well. So like for me, oh, you're fine. Don't worry about the predictive text. We figured it out here. So, and then we have our summer stuff as well. So for me, when I put stuff in here, it kind of depends. We're going to take a look at like the celery. Celery takes like 3 months to really even think about putting it out in the garden. It takes like 12 weeks for it to get there. So it kind of varies where you're at. But the way that I typically go is if I'm going to be looking to transfer it into the garden, I think that's what you're asking here. Like for instance, I have stuff in March, I can usually start working the soil a little bit here. I'll have my polytunnel up, which will help protect stuff. I'll kind of keep most of the frost away from it. That's a lot of the stuff I'm starting right now, specifically things that'll do well in the cooler temperature, like the onions. Onions will do just fine out there and that stuff. So, That's kind of the biggest thing here, guys, is just knowing when you can start working your soil and the type of, and again, with that, though, the type of plant that you're putting in there. So like the brassicas, they're going to do great. They're going to be all excited to be out there and enjoying this weather. You know, when it's cooler out there, they're going to do great. So March would be the first one, and there is a worry of frost, but like I said, I have large tunnel we're going to be putting up, plus I have smaller covers for them. So yeah, that's kind of how I measure it out. Okay, so I hope that answered it. I'm not sure if it was or not. So we're going to turn this one off as well. Going to save a little energy on this guy here. It's going to be just fine. Let this guy kind of keep getting lots of light here. Because tomorrow we're going to do some more seed starts and everything too as well. So I've got more seeds that we're going to be starting. That's going to be exciting. Looking forward to that. All right, we got this here, we got that there. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the celery. The celery, and then we're going to get on to some more transplanting here. And you can, it's so hard to see, but they're getting started. So in this this container that we got here, we have 4,000 celeries that are starting. You can just see, hopefully, we're getting a whole bunch are starting to pop up right now, and it's a bunch, just a bunch. So we're going to have these guys all kind of go up, and then I'm just going to toss them out in the garden. Last frost. Okay, so last frost date for us is Memorial. So it's like it's typically May 30th, 25th to 30th for us. That's our last frost date here. That being said, I get stuff out, and I've had tomatoes, and I've had stuff out in April. You just got to kind of have a plan for it to cover them up and stuff. So, but that's what the, so I'm going to have tomatoes going here, but I need more space to move things out and have them going. So that's what we're going to be setting up in there as well too. So it gives me a little more space, as well. But I've had stuff growing out in the garden. I had tons of lettuce, tons of brassicas out there last year. So it's just a matter of, you know, kind of having a plan for them more than anything. So you're going to go here. Just kind of leave you there. And then, all right, so let's get my brassicas. Oh, actually, let's we'll do some brassicas, then we'll take a look at the basil and some other stuff we have going. All right, because I can turn the heat off on this as well. This guy is dripping everywhere. That's okay. Just gonna move over here. I can unplug this guy too, because the onions that are started at this point, so we don't need to worry about that. Cool. All right. So again, welcome everybody. We're just here in the greenhouse. Do me a favor when you hop in the chat. Let us know where you're from. And again, hopefully I earn your subscription today. And if not, at least give me a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, gets me in front of more folks. Okay, so what we have right now that we're looking at are going to be some brassicas. Okay, as we talked about before, brassicas are your cauliflower. I'm going to get the name for that other one. I keep forgetting it. Someone's going to tell me in the chat what the other brassica is. Where are you at? Come here, glasses. It starts with a R, I believe. I had to put my old man glasses on to see. So, by the way, I treat Swiss chard as a brassica. It's not a brassica, but it does the same stuff there. What is the name of this? We have obviously Brussels sprouts, are a brassica, cauliflower. Where's the name? It's got to be. I saw it in here. I can never remember the name. Oh, kohlrabi. That's it. Starts with a K. Kohlrabi is the other one. What am I working in? So, as far as like this here, this is my greenhouse. It's a 6x16 polycarbonate, 6x6x16 polycarbonate greenhouse. I've got insulation all the way around there. So yeah, it's a great question, Dad. So I have heat mats under the plants that are starting. And then I have a small little heater right underneath here, you'll see, that kicks on at 42 degrees to make sure everything doesn't freeze, right? Because a lot of this stuff, these are all cold weather plants that I'm starting. And then I have, you can't see it here, but there's a tarp that I have right here that I actually just block off this section. And like right now, before I came in here, with the warming mats and with the heater, you know, it stays about 44 degrees during the day. If the sun comes out, it's up to 75, 80, 90 in here real quick. But that's kind of how it goes. But I have insulation on 3/4 of the building. I don't know if you can see it here, but I've got my foam insulation. I have this all on the outside as well, too. So, and then obviously bubble wrap just to let some of this stuff come through as well. So that's kind of where that's at. All right. So anyways, we've got our brassicas here, and I always like to kind of get these guys going. Exactly. The heat just keeps it at 42 degrees during the evening hours, and that's it. And, you know, like I said, for the most part, it does a good job. I've had a couple times where it's struggled to keep up, you know, and it's popped the breaker and I've lost some stuff in here. But again, right now I'm just growing cold weather stuff. So, you know, even a little nip of frost isn't necessarily terrible for the plants. You know, they get hardened, they get hardy just being in here by by their very nature. So just kind of the deal. All right. Good question. Thank you for asking that though. Definitely appreciate it. Did I put this guy? I did. All right. So we're going to work on some of our brassicas, but first things first, let's take a look and see where we're at here. Keep it clean in the chat, guys. Come on now. So you can see here, like we were talking about before, when's the time to transplant these? Right here. You can see where we've got those roots are popping down underneath here. That's letting us know that, hey, these guys are ready to move on. And one of the things that you'll see instantly with this is how quickly the actual plant grows once it gets into these larger pots. And that's kind of the idea. Now, this in particular, they're going to be living inside this for the next couple months, right? Next month and a half, give or take. Month and a half, maybe 2 months. So they're going to be definitely pretty darn close to root bound once we go to transplant them. That's okay. They'll be fine. Again, we're going to go through the same process. We're going to be looking at here to make sure that we're loosening up the roots and everything. So Eastern Pennsylvania, Amish country. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so let's take a look here at where we're at. Right. So again, just the same process here. We're going to mound this up. So we got a good extra amount. Then we're going to take that out. And again, that's going to be there to help us with, refilling this back in to make sure we're good. We're going to go through and just like before, we're pressing this down to make sure we don't have any air pockets. It's super important, folks, on these steps that we have here. Right. And then we're going to make a pocket in there for our plants. Let's start with the kale, because I want to show you what to do when you have something that's leggy. Right? Leggy plants are something that we all have to deal with from time to time. And excuse me. Right? And you can just see, like, that guy is pretty leggy, right? But the roots look all okay. So before we put it in, we are going to inspect the roots. And we're just looking to make sure that we don't have any roots that are, let me get this down here. There you go. Just going straight down. That's what we like. But we don't want to see any roots that are going horizontal, like we always talk about. You go horizontal roots, bad things happen, right? That means it's starting to get root bound. And when that root, if we don't straighten it out and it grows, it's going to choke off the plant. We don't want that. Now, one of the best known practices when you have something leggy, it's a real simple process. You just bury it deeper. It's okay. The plant's not going to mind. It'll just adjust. Okay, so what we did there is we had that nice, huge, long, like, legginess that was going on. It's okay. We ain't mad at it. What we're going to do instead is just help it out. And it'll adjust, and the plant will make whatever adjustments. Well, there we go. We just planted it, buried it right down, and it's good to go. And that's one of the things to keep in mind specifically when you're dealing with when you're transplanting. We want to make sure that they are, we're giving these the best opportunity to be successful. And the way you do that is, hey, if they're leggy, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You guys got off to a quick start. It's cool. But we got you. We're going to give you a little extra support, bury a little bit deeper. Okay. That's it. But what we're definitely not going to do, actually, I got to start something here because we're going to, actually, let me put this up here. We're gonna actually have to start some more potting soil. Okay, guys. So we're gonna actually walk through that. I wasn't planning on that today, but today we're gonna also show you how I do my seed starting mix as well too. So we're gonna do that now before I do this. All right. So yeah, let's focus on that. So let's switch gears. Okay. So seed starting mix. I use again this cocoa coir, which is coconut pith. You're like, Ryan, what does that mean? All right, so let me put this back up here. My wife got me this for the to have out. So while we're doing this, so you guys can show me we're on air. There we go. I thought that was kind of nice of her. So what we do is we take this is coconut husk, right? The husk from the coconut that has been ground and powdered into this and then pressed into these bricks. Right. So the way that we're going to use this in our seed starting mix, but we got to kind of give it a head start here. And so what we do is it goes into a bucket and we're going to add a bunch of water, a whole bunch of water, and we're going to let it hydrate. And it's going to soak all of this up. And yep, you got it. The bricks, they're so, you can get off of Amazon. They're not very expensive. I think it's, again, I don't know. I think this is from last year. I think it was like $18 for the 6-pack or 8-pack or whatever it was. Nothing crazy. Okay, so there we go. Lots of water. Now I'm going to let that kind of do its thing for a second. Yeah. And then, so what we're going to do with this, going to let this kind of expand, and then we're going to use this with just regular old, I just grab potting soil here. I don't try to overthink it. We're going to mix the two together, and that's what I use in my seed starting mix, because I can also use it for transplanting as well too. It does both. I do have a sifter that I use during my when it comes to very delicate seeds, specifically those that we are going, oh, hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you so much. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. I do have a sifter that I do use, a 1/4-inch one when we're doing flowers, because a lot of them are surface germination flowers, right? So the seeds got to sit on top, but I still want to give them just a little bit to help. And I don't want anything too heavy in there because they're so delicate. Petunias are one of those. You've got to have really, really fine, delicate material that goes with them to help them germinate, because they need the sunlight on there. All right, so I do sift some stuff, but for most things I don't. No worries from most things I don't worry about, okay? All right, so let's get these brassicas going. Our next set here, we're gonna do a couple of these kales. The chickens really love kale. They love kale. I was really surprised by that. I figured it was gonna be a little bit too meat for them, but they can dig it. So, all right, so let's get this guy right here. I think this is the one I want. And again, we're using the tool that we get from the Organo Republic. Again, you can use a spoon, guys. I just happen to have the tool and it works really well. So, by the way, as a reminder, everybody, when you hop in the chat here, obviously we love to hear from y'all. Say hi. Just let us know where you're from. Right? I'm up here in Northern Michigan. It is snowing and gross out right now, but we're living our best life in the greenhouse. So again, we're going to inspect to take a look. We got a good root going on there, and we're just checking to make sure that the root structure looks okay. Nothing really scary going on there with this guy. We're good. Get rid of my extra little hangout friend here. So, oh, you're in Minnesota. Awesome. I've got a few folks that are a few viewers that come back consistently that are from Minnesota. I always love to have the Minnesota folks on here because you guys let me know what the weather is and you know what I'm going to get. So I know what I'm going to get tomorrow. It's always great. Because like today it's just gross out. And I think Sunday we're supposed to get down into the single digits. Yeesh. Washington State. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I used to live in Spokane, Washington. Not sure where you're at. So I used to live in Spokane. I was around Spokane. It was a town called Medical Lake. Fortunately, they got hit in those fires that were going on a couple of years ago. But yeah, we loved Washington. It was one of our favorite places to live. All right, so then we got this here. So you can see we just got a nice little transplant going on here. Appreciate everybody kind of hanging out today. So I think it's going to be a fun stream today, guys. I think we're going to be in for a lot of fun here. That's just my 2 cents. You can always kind of tell when the streams are taking on a life of their own. So let's see how we doing here. Okay, this guy's still soaking up. That's fine. I'm going to show you guys before I break this up, kind of how much it expands this cocoa core. It's kind of important just so you can see and understand just how the process works. Okay, so go over here in Vancouver. Okay, got it. Yeah, Spokane was one of those. So I was in the Air Force and for almost 21 years. And I was able to, and I picked most of my assignments that good, bad, or indifferent. And Spokane was one of the ones that I selected when they needed me to do a new job. Okay, so I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I got to tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it here. Okay, so we're gonna loosely fill this up, right? And have a little, as long as it's doming over a little bit, that's what you're looking for on a transplant, right? And then we're going to come through and just kind of peel some off the top here. You'll figure out what works best for you in your area. You know, when you're doing this, I kind of go down maybe an inch or so, not that much. And what we're going to do is then we're going to come through and we're just going to give it a light tap just to make sure that your soil is seeded. Remember, we don't want air gaps. That's what we're looking after. Then we're just going to pop a little hole in the middle. Nice and easy. Nothing too crazy here, guys. And we're just going to grab one of these here. And let's go with this guy. Looks pretty happy. And we're going to do some pruning. And I can show off another one of the tools that we have. Come here. You can stop being so grabby, you. There we go. And this tool is so great. Again, a spoon works just as well. So we can reach right in there and grab these here. Now, a lot of the root structure on this is not as strong. It has me a little worried, but we're going to take care of that, okay? I thought I looked like Mark Wahlberg. I tell you, I always look like somebody different on every one of these streams. It's too funny. So you see how we got these little extras in there, a little hang on for other seedlings in this pack. That's one of the reasons that I like getting this 55 seed, different types of garden seed pack here. It comes with these tools. They provide these tiny little shears, which are really good for just getting in here and helping to eliminate those little extra stragglers. See, there we go. Which is really great. And they're good for basically, my tools. Oh yeah, no worries. So the tools, they come in this pack. This it's Organo Republic. I actually have if you go to my page, you'll see a video where I did a review on these here. And I get that pack because one year it's 55. It's the seeds that I'm going to use for the most part. I have some other specific ones that I use, but it comes with this little toolkit with all sorts of goodies in there. Again, those shears. It has a dibber tool. If you guys will be talking, we may be breaking out the dibber tool here in a little bit as we start some other stuff. Here, got the dibber tool, a few other things, but also it comes with this as well, which again, this scoop is really good. And it's designed for these 1-inch cells that we have going on here. So, all right. So anyways, we got this guy in here, and then we're going to take the excess soil that we had. Remember, we had it kind of domed up over. We're just going to kind of recollect it now. If you're not a slob like me, it may just be sitting in one section, which would be easier for you. And press it down. And there we go. All right. It's living its best life. Yep. Now, what I love about this too, like this, when I buy these seeds, that's one of the reasons I keep coming back to this. It comes with the tools, so I have fresh ones every year. Like this is last year's. It's still there, but man, this is like some stuff out of a horror film, all rusted and gross, right? And it's because we're using them here, right? Yeah. I do grow bok choy. I'll start that probably in March. But one of the things I just want everyone, if you've never grown bok choy before, just remember, bok choy does not play well with anyone else. It will actually cause issues with your other plants because of some of the chemicals it puts out. So just understand, I always grow bok choy in its own container. I have it containerized, just kind of set off to the other spot there. So, all right, so let's see here. Oh, there you go. That's good. That's a good tip. That is a good tip there. Oh, that's good. Hey, that's a great tip. I like that. Halfway in, go from there. Now for a lot of these that I have going on here too, they're going to be living their best lives in here. So I, give them as much as they have. The other spot too is that I actually reuse a lot of my potting soil too. So especially on the stuff like, for instance, I'll have in here, it will end up, the stuff that I have, that's going to end up going for chicken feed. I'll come through, shake everything out, and just reuse it as a plant starter too, as a seed starter. So, but that's one of the things definitely keep in mind with bok choy. That's a great question. I get that a lot about bok choy because it's so delicious. But just keep that in mind. It does not play nice with others. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Baby bok choy. I guess I don't know. All I ever grow is the full, like I say, the full plant that gets to about here. I don't know if that's baby bok choy or not. What's in here? This one's bok choy, right? Yeah, this one's bok choy that I grow. So not the baby. No, I don't do that. And like I say, you guys are going to come up with stuff some of the things that I don't, that I've never experienced before, and I'll let you know on those. One thing that we will be growing this year, which I think you guys will like also, and I grow it every year, is something called cucamelon. They're these, and for those that have been here before, so I'm at 42F, so or in freedom units. So like, yeah, 42F here. Yep. So, it's 10 degrees in Fahrenheit above freezing. I just kind of keep everything right around 42. That also gives me a little bit of like warning in case, because I have temperature sensors in here that'll let me know if it's going to drop, if it drops below 34, so I can double check to see if I had like a power outage or anything too. So I got that here. So, oh, I'm sure it's delicious. Yeah, for sure. Hey, I'll take a look into that. So cucamelon. So we grow cucamelon here. It's something I discovered off of a TikTok one time or something, where they're these little, they look like little watermelons, but they taste like cucumbers. And they grow on this really delicate thin vine that's like thread thin, and it grows everywhere, and it just drops these little watermelon looking but tiny cucumber looking things, and they're so good in salads. Like, they're so great. So I cannot overstate it. Like, if you get a chance to grow cucamelon, you should. They like warm weather though, so I can't even, I can get them started-ish in here, but I have to really protect them and keep them warm until they're really established. And then I'm in zone 7B here, so we're subtropical in my area, if you can believe it. During the growing season, we are. Not now. It's, I got 8 inches of snow outside, and it's windy and gross out right now. But thank you for the growthful day. That's very sweet. Thank you. So anyways, what was I saying on that is that once it's warm, they take off and they go nuts. So, all right. Well, again, welcome everybody. My name's Ryan, just here in the Northern Michigan greenhouse. We're working on stuff here as far as making sure that this is my spring starts, right? A lot of this is my spring starts. Some of it is, I'm a little early on it, and that's okay. A lot of the stuff, if it makes it, even better. If not, no worries. I do direct sow for a lot of things, and starting in February, we're going to be amping up even more to get ready, so I can have the full garden full this year. It's going to be great. I'm going to be growing a ton of beets this year. So if you're interested in learning and watching and how beets are grown and everything else, definitely something to be keeping an eye on. Okay. All right. So let's go and get these guys going. I had a couple kale, and I think that's enough for now, but I want to kind of get this next section set up here. These guys. Here we go. And again, the thing when it comes to brassicas, they do not have their root. They take their time. We'll put it that way. Brassicas are not in a hurry. They're good, and that's okay. And now we're kind of getting them set up into their own little sections here. They're doing better, especially since we have more light coming on too. Like, that's the other piece. As the days are changing, as things are adjusting, we're going to have more and more growth opportunities that'll be happening for them. Okay. Got all the snow machines are out having a field day right now. All the guys are playing. Okay, so we're going to take a look at, I got this ready here. I think it's a good time just to show. All right. As you can see, this guy has been soaking up all sorts of water here, right? It's still got a little ways to go, but I want to just show you as it's continuing on, what the difference that's happening here. As you can see, as it's gaining water and expanding, right? And this whole thing is going to end up, being about yay wide once it soaks up a little bit more water here. So, but I'm going to break it up a little bit to kind of help speed it up. Normally I do this overnight. I didn't realize I was running short on potting soil or my seed starting stuff. So let's get them in there. There we go. Add a little more water. There we go. And let it do its thing. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have, that's one thing in Michigan. We have plenty of lakes. I actually have property that I'm eventually going to be putting a small cabin on, one of our little pocket lakes out here. But we're right by Lake Michigan, and and we have a great beach right on the lake. It's just the problem is that, man, the lakes are so cold. The so cold's here. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's that? Catherine. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Catherine. Good to have you on here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, we're transplanting some brassicas right now and just kind of chatting a little bit, just kind of. So guys, and the other thing too is like, these are my favorite things about these streams. We're just kind of here chilling, just doing our own thing and just, talking through what we're doing. So if you have questions or anything, be sure to ask. If I don't know, chances are good folks in the chat are going to have a good idea too. All right. So let's take a look here. Let's get this guy out. Come on. You got this, buddy. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. So this one you can see has got a lot of roots going on doing its thing there. So we love that. This one is looking pretty healthy. We got to trim it back though, because we've got two are in here. So before I go any further, and not going to use the evil slasher film shears, we're going to use the good ones here. Just going to take that piece off, drop it over there. There we go. All right, so we've got we've got it seated in there. It's in a good place. So now we're just going to come around and just kind of help it just a little bit. And this is one of the things, just take your time on this as well. As we're doing this transplant, we want to make sure that it's seated well. Seated, not seated. It's seated well because it's germinated. I am stateside. Yes, I'm in Northern Michigan. I am Northern Michigan. We have folks all over though. We got folks who are we got folks in England. We got some folks from Leicester. We got people from all over the U.S. and I had some folks from around the world. We end up with a kind of an international flair on this channel. We get folks from all over, which I love because everybody's kind of got different stuff here to grow with. So where are you from, Catherine? All right, so I think I want to do one more of these kales. I think this one. Actually this little guy. Yeah, we're gonna do that one over there. Gotta make decisions, right? All right, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna start. I think we're gonna start. I do our seed starting mix, and then more water. All right, let's do our seed starting mix, and then we're gonna get some more seeds started here. I gotta get some more lettuce rolling here as well, because like I say, I always try to have some lettuce going, like at all times, some fresh lettuce started. Matter of fact, this guy, here you go. Let's give these onions here some of their goodness. There we go. Everybody's gonna get some. All right, so as always, right? Again, just dome some up, just have it on there. You don't have to use it all, but you want to make sure you have enough that's going to be able to help you cover, okay? Next piece, when it gets in, remember, just give everything a light tap there. I have some folks, and again, this is where they're at. Depends how you're at. And I've seen this as well too, where folks just come in and just give it a little push to seed it. You can absolutely do that. Then we're going to come in and we're just going to make a spot, a little hole in here for our 1-inch cells that we have our plants growing in here. We're going to get this guy out of there. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Gotcha. All right. So we're going to take a look. This is a good one. We can see on a nice side view here of the root structure. You guys can see, remember, we're looking for roots that are going straight down for the most part, right? They're going to be side to side. You're never going to get away from that. But we want stuff that's going down. And that's because, I'm going to get you out of there though. Goodbye, buddy. Again, because one of the issues we don't want to have is when they're growing in these cells, sometimes they get root bound. So you'll have roots that are going horizontal, and that's not good. That'll end up hurting the plant. So we don't want those. So if we see those, we're going to break those up. That's simply just running your tool down and loosening them up, or just cut them. It's fine. Just, break them up. The plant will heal. Much rather you want the plant spending time healing that up than what ends up happening when you have stuff that's root bound. It just chokes out the plant. That's no good for anybody. Okay. All right. So we got this little guy in there doing his thing. Okay. There we go, guys. I feel pretty good with those. I think that's enough. Maybe one more. I got room for one more. We're gonna do one more, then we're gonna do our seed starters here. And I got plenty there. So same thing, we're gonna seat these down. I already had plenty in here to dome it over, so we're just gonna reuse this. Oh yeah, so compost does not compact. Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, just keep in mind with compost, it's good. It's great for that organic matter within your within your garden. It brings all the goodness with it, and that's one of the things we have. I have 4 pallet size, pallet cubed, right? Big things that I have for compost that are going along with leaves and everything else. So it's as you figure that out, it's definitely a thing. But I use my compost mostly as a mulch for my garden. Just put it on top of everything that I have growing. So, all right, so we got this guy here. We're going to trim this down before we pack this away, make a decision. We're going to decide who lives and dies right now, folks. And that one's gone. There we go. Made a decision. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully everybody's having a good day. Hopefully the rest of your day, you've got good plans. You have plans for the rest of the day, for your time. Again, I know a lot of folks right now, they're going through and starting to sort their seeds and see what they need to have. Not everybody is in the greenhouse per se as early as I am. I'm just one of those guys that like to get out here early and just kind of have stuff growing. Just kind of where I'm at. Okay, so there we go. That guy's set. So let's salvage this. All right, and walk you through what the process is for basically my seed starting mix. It's also for my potting soil as well too that I use. It's the same stuff. And then I think tomorrow what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some seed starts tomorrow. I think that's gonna be the plan. We'll save this for then. Just put you down here for now. Do that. All right. So as you can see, the coconut coir has really kind of expanded out and done its thing. It's all in there. We're going to break up the last little bit of it here. There we go. It's got some in here, so we won't use the full deal. All right, so I got it in here, and it's been pre-moistened. So that's one of the things that I just want to make sure you guys know too, that when you're starting your potting soil mix, right, or whatever you're going to be putting together with your potting soil, let's say you just go and grab this, and this is all you want to use for whatever you're doing. That's fine. And, don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal. Not everybody does that, but you want to use this. That's perfectly fine. The thing is, though, is this stuff is really hygrophobic. It does not like to absorb water, right? You'll see it. It'll the water will beat up on top of it. So you need to. So best known practice actually is to get it into a bucket and soak it ahead of time. Just dump a bunch of water long before you need it, and hydrate it in the actual in the bucket. Okay. Now we already have some pre-moistened coconut coir in here, right? So this is our coconut husk. So we're just going to dump that in, and then we're going to mix it up with our potting soil, right? And we're going to kind of get it started here, do that mixture. And you'll see, and I can kind of show you, you'll be able to see the color differential in here too, as they're coming together. You can see how I got that reddish brown in there, and then you got your darker black with the potting soil, right? So we're just looking for a good mixture with that. And what I do is I just transfer it back to the previous bucket. What that's going to do is allow me then to mix it from that side too, because it's kind of hard to get in the bucket and do all this stuff. If you have a larger bin you can do this in, great. That's fine. But like on my end, all I have is buckets. It doesn't take a lot of time. Depends what you want to do. And the last thing here is we're just going to dump a bunch of water in here. And this will be for tomorrow. Just let this stuff soak in. Yeah, we're just going to let her go. There we go, folks. Okay. So I think we're going to call it for a day there, folks. We got a lot of what I want to accomplish today. Tomorrow, we're going to start some seeds. I've got some lettuces that we're going to get going. Definitely a bunch of lettuce we're going to have going tomorrow. So, again, hopefully I earned your subscription today. Again, we're just out here in the greenhouse, out in the garden doing stuff. I appreciate everybody who's on here. If you want to support the stream, obviously the best way is going to be through those subscriptions, hitting that thumbs up. There's a link down in the description if you're interested. You can find merchandise for easygoing growers. I've got shirts and hats that I personally picked out of there to say, hey, these are the ones that I like. So you want to go check those out as well. So yeah, it's great hanging out with everybody. Thank you so much for all the interaction today. It was fantastic. I appreciate all of you. Take care, and we'll see you next time.